Well, hello every folks. Good morning and or afternoon or whatever else. Don't worry, the screen is supposed to be paused right now. Um, Usual post-commentary kind of thing here. So, got a bit of a twofer this time. Basically had gone and done those last two kind of back-to-back here to see what can be done here. So first off is Desert Jack. Now, honestly, this always kind of struck me as a bit of a lazy design choice on the part of the route here. Because basically what you're getting is, okay, you just did this other one with the quad pole V out on the same map after fighting Evangel on this same map after fighting Sorcerer on a very similar map. You know, really a lot of this route is just go friggin' shoot stuff in the desert. Like it's kind of an odd duck as far as that goes. Now, there are kind of annoying enemy formations in this one. That's why I went for the spreads on the left side here. And those actually ended up sticking over to the next one, but, you know, we'll get to that in a little bit. So, here's the thing. The larges take out the big plasma laser guys with one shot, but bear in mind that getting hit by them is usually like an 800 to 1,000 damage off those things. It's kind of nuts how much they do. But the weird part is, whatever you attack first, it seems like you'll spawn one extra of. So, like, normally, there's two of every type of enemy on the map here. But if you end up, for example, attacking these two walker guys, it seems like it spawns a third guy as well. So, sorry for the little bit of lag jank here. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm liking this this particular playback format here. I think it might just be affected by something that's going on in the background. Okay, what is going on here even? Alright, hang on. You want to pause here and maybe, you know, play nice? There we go. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just somebody contacting me on Discord, so suddenly it's like, oh no, I gotta process something, and then it just completely explodes. Who knows? Who knows? So, yeah, the last two here are the two tremors. I don't know what the hell their actual name is. I always call these things tremors. But yeah, so there's only two left here. Went for the spreads, mostly for them, just because their elevation ends up adjusting a whole lot, and all it takes is a single thing, practically anything, to take care of them. But actually adjusting for their elevation is a real pain in the neck, just because even if you follow their trail here, you'll occasionally still run into issues. But worst case scenario, you can kind of just run up and pop one right in their face. That doesn't work so well when there's two of them, since you'll usually end up getting hit. Now, as far as Desert Jack goes, he's probably the easiest fight in this run, well, except for G-Faust. That's, yeah. He's an interestingly incompetent guy on their team, but what can you do? It's actually interesting. I was talking with somebody about this earlier on one of the last parts here. But it's kind of funny how there's just some in some parts of LR that are just, how on earth did they survive this far? Like, I honestly kind of appreciate the setting that LR went for. It's just they don't follow their own rules a lot of the time. Because their whole thing is just, oh yeah, like, only the most cheaty scumbags survived up to this point. That's the only reason they made it. Like, for example, in this whole situation, one that always struck me as, why didn't he make it, was Kraken, from Nexus. It's like, okay, Jacko, he is overweight, but he's at least got firepower to him. You've got, you know, I mean, Cerberus, I guess he's okay. How did Mumu make it? Like, there's nothing I guarantee you, they just basically had a boardroom meeting of like, we need a Parry Blade build in here for some reason. So yeah, Jack just kind of sits there and takes it, as he always tends to. So, yeah. By the way, with both of these, I was going and finally getting my internet fixed again. It's hilarious. After it was finally repaired, it turns out that, like, it starts having issues the same day. And then it turns out that a squirrel apparently came and frickin' like chewed through the wires or some crap. So the same day that it's installed, just nothing works again. So yeah, both of these I ended up getting interrupted a good bit. So I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit for this next one, because it's gonna be relatively loud. hopefully it goes to the right one, otherwise, this is gonna be weird. This is my first time kind of testing this as a format, so we'll see if it goes. Alright, are you properly gonna go to the next track? I hope so. I hope so. We're gonna get the old Gen 1000 MG, which is basically now just a vomit gun. But, you know, it's pretty darn good. Alright, so are we switching over to the next one or what? Alright, go to the next one. Yes! Okay, so. There we go, let's put it at 2. I thought this music was pretty fitting. I just had it playing in the background as kind of inspiration here, and then just kind of decided to leave it. Actually, let's turn the overall volume down a little bit. But, yeah, this is Cosmic Confrontations by Vortigaunt. Basically a cover of some FTL music. So now, as far as this mission goes, its whole thing is just a crap load of jets. Like, I think in total it's like 50-something. And yeah, needless to say, at times, bit of a turkey shoot. At other times, a bit of a nightmare. So everything about this whole setup took a few tries to get nailed down. Actually, the very first time I did this, I was going and just evading stuff for like 15 minutes before I finally realized, wait a minute, this isn't the one with the Leviathans. So, yeah, if you didn't know, the one with the Leviathans, you basically start off exactly the same way, except about a minute in, they're like, hey, we're worthless, let's go ahead and send in the real stuff, and then they send the real sucky versions of the Leviathans that really can't do anything, and it's kind of a wonder that they spent so much on their development, but whatever. So, their movements are kind of varied based on what they do here. There's actually a surprising amount of variance to this fight that I found out after maybe 30-something attempts. Like, for example, the first wave tends to absolutely love spamming their triple missiles, but also has a tendency to kind of just go in relatively predictable patterns. The second ones absolutely love their sweeping turns, kind of like that one in the back's doing right now. You know, let's pause it for a second to see if that helps it clear up. There we go. So yeah, the ones in the back have a tendency to, or the ones in the second wave, sorry, have a tendency to do a bit more turns, and then the third ones get into all kinds of fancy maneuvers. Now, you may be thinking, you know, idiot, what are you doing? Trying to, you know, getting yourself into charging twice this early into the fight. And it's mostly because I wanted to go get solid hits with the tri-rockets in both cases. Their only purpose, the only reason I kept them around, is actually to fire at those formations. Just try to give it about one each. Actually, I don't remember if it was in this one, but during one of the attempts I actually did manage to get a 3-for out of those, and that was pretty awesome. Actually, there were a bunch of attempts that like a bunch of really cool trick shots happened, and then go figure, the actual successful one is possibly one of the most boring ones out of the entire bunch. And alrighty, seems like we are having a party in the background. Give me one moment. Alright, restarted this way too many times. Screw it, we're just continuing on as is. If I remember to edit that out, I will. But yeah, so by and large, this is mostly what it consists of. Just tons and tons of dodging, tons and tons of everything. So I tried going double triples on this whole thing. That didn't work out terribly well, just because they don't really have a whole lot of ammo to them. I tried bringing the Ruries in, thinking, you know, just that'll help with these. But unfortunately, they are the accurate kind, so they were unreliable. So the extra shielding from the side shields definitely did a far better job. I could just dodge the rest. Actually, one of my favorite moments, if I can... I hope I didn't delete it, but because there were, like I said, there were a lot of attempts. One of my favorite ones... Ew, what was that? Well, that's gross. Never want to be coughing up weird crap in the middle of one of these. So, yeah, in the middle of one of them, I forgot about the third wave entirely. I thought everything was going super well. And yeah, so it was just one of those early attempts. Had gone and wiped out the second wave there, was doing really poorly, because that was that one where I was going and kind of dodging for like 10 minutes, thinking, you know, this will end at some point, and it didn't. And, yeah. So, so I go and I finally beat the second wave, like, okay, you know, lots of time wasted, but I think I got it. So I casually saunter down and go pick up the hidden part. It's over by the river there. Like, yeah. You know, it's pretty solid. You know what I just noticed? Random note. You friggin' fight Principal here, too. It's like more than half the friggin', more than half the friggin' fights in this route are in the... they're all in the desert. Like, just the same 2 desert maps recycled over and over. How creative. Anyhow, so yeah, I casually saunter down, pick up the part, and like, okay, you know, just even got the extra part to show off. Look over, and there's like 15 jets on the horizon, just all suddenly spamming their tri-missiles at the same time. Which, by the way, hilarious RNG with those things. Alright, so at this point, final wave is coming in. Actually, or wait, was it already last? Yeah, no, this is final wave. This is when it gets intense. So final wave, they stop even bothering with formations, which is actually something that makes it quite a bit more difficult. And yeah, I had a couple interruptions here. This one doesn't last very long. I just basically had to go deal with the puppy doing some weirdness. But yeah, get unlucky with the tries there. Both of them end up firing everywhere where I need them to. So they start flying low and kind of random at this point. Dog, what are you doing? She's like punted a box across the room. But yeah, so it's actually funny because this is why I kept playing this piece in the background even when I started getting sick of it. Just because it fits so well with this whole thing and the FTL theme in general. But yeah, stuff starts getting nuts at this point. Like, especially with rockets, you usually don't realize just how much of an utter fustercluck it is, like, to the point where they're even hitting each other, up until you end up trying to do this thing with rockets. So, yeah, obviously a little bit awkward to aim at them with the dark background, but very doable. They don't go terribly fast, but their patterns do get a little bit weird at this point. Especially since they try to make you aim for them down on the ground there, and then they suddenly do a quick upper turn there. And yeah, so there's like a whole mess of planes all over the place. Have I ever mentioned that Windows Media Player is kind of a sack of crap? I'll definitely need to remember to try this with some other program in the future. Actually, I was doing the TO one with VLC, I think it was. We'll try that one. I don't know why this one... Why exactly does a standard video player need the frickin' buffer? What is that even? So yeah, lots of dodging, lots of craziness. They love to do their doubles instead of their triples at this point. And I want to point out, like, the most impressive feat in the AC universe, how on earth they fit, like, 50 missiles onto each of these planes. Is, like, in reality, they can carry maybe 4. And they're over here like, yep, we just create them from... You know what? They do create them from nothing. You know what they are? They're those frickin' guns from Mass Effect, except made into missiles and shoved into jets. That's what it is. And you know what's funny? If they had sent all of these jets alongside the Leviathans for that one, it'd be so much more difficult. I mean, it's been pointed out several times, but everything about the whole Nexus to LR scenario would have been amazing for an RTS. Like, everything about it. Like, you just... Actually, you know what? I forget the name of it, but the people who made Worms made a sort of Command & Conquer-like that was very similar to that idea. I forget the name of it right now. It's just a strategy game by Team 17. Just look it up, because it looked really cool. It's basically Command & Conquer, but you can customize mechs. And then just like all your units are just customs. I meant to pick that up ages ago and then completely forgot about it up till now. As with many things. I always forget everything. My memory sucks. Anyway. So at this point, end up taking out the last couple of them here, and the very last one. That's when the Comcast guy decides to come back. You have no idea how annoyed I was at that point, because I basically had a day where I couldn't work. The internet was completely down. Couldn't do anything. I did all my calls and everything. the wife was off with the kids, so I was just literally sitting home and doing attempts because I had, for once, I had literally nothing better to do. And yeah, like, I go through, clean the entire house, take care of all the animals, like, well, crap, I guess I'll just try to friggin' potshot planes for a while. And yeah, so finally I get to the one. Like, I wasn't expecting this to go as it did, because usually once I ended up missing those first two try rockets at the very start, I figured that's it, that's over. And then just right on this very last one, going and aiming, and it's like, yep, there's that guy. Right then, and there was like a 20-minute wait, so this took forever to actually go up. But anyway, so unfortunately didn't get to the best part of the music. Well, okay, it got pretty close to the best part of the music. It's a mix of a whole bunch of different themes from FTL, but specifically the beginning of what he did with the Last Stand theme is really good. Like, even Ben Prunty, he's the guy who was the original composer for the score. Like, even he put a comment on the thing like, wow, I wish I would have thought of that. And yeah, the Last Stand theme is already amazing. Yeah, if you've never played FTL, it is just so good. By the way, yes, Random Kiddo is still going on in the background, as per usual. They love to cry at different things, as kids do. Like earlier, there was a strap on like, they had these little eating seats. It's like, I want to be in this seat. It's just there trying to undo the strap. It's like, you're not eating right now. But I wanna! Anyway, so that's basically everything up to Ultimate Znida here. So that'll be next time.